onboarding screen, able to move like the swipe or just next button. And after you hit the finish, next time you didn't see this one. After this, you see the list of the items, and you have the navigation button menu where you're able to move to the different windows or fragments. And now our goal, instead of load the static info from the list, we need to load from the database. First, you need to go to the console, firebase and if you're not already signed in here, you need to create your Gmail profile, and when you sign in here, you're able to create a project. And if you're starting the new app, you need to, I recommend to use it Firebase tools. In the top section you're able to find tools, Firebase, and here you will find the assistant. For example, you need some services, Firestore in our case. You just hit Firestore, connect to Firebase, and after a few moments, first time it suggests to create a project or just add already exist projects and follow those guides. You're able to connect your Firebase Firestore to your project. And here basically you'll find your basic steps how to add it, Firestore to your project. And sometimes when you start working, you will generate some like this, any type of name. We already created shop. I know why it's so long. And after successfully connect, now you will see the message connected, and you need to add Cloud Firestore dependencies. And here when you're adding, you automatically add it to the build Gradle project level and to app level. App level for our app, all dependencies and libraries, and here is only class path to the project level. And when you're adding, it's your database is connected. And first, before you start, you need to run the project. And if you get some errors or missing Google JSON file, you need to download from the Firebase console. Like if you have created shop, for example, you will go to the settings icon, project settings, and down below you will find your app, like your app namespace, and on the right side you will find a file, Google Services JSON, which you need to download and paste to your project, to your Android project, to the app level, like right click and paste when you download your Google JSON file. And after this, try again to run your project, and if it works, that means your Firestore is connected. And when it's connected, how to find your Google JSON file, you're able to change from Android to project files, and you see here it's Google Services JSON. You need to add to the app root as a root path. And here only basic connection information, some IDs and domains, etc. And that needs to connect to your database. And when you're switching to Android, it's hiding some files and easier to read it. And in our case, we have already item list adapter, view model, repository. Onboarding today we not touching. We touching only the models and fragments, adapters, repositories, view models, and main activity maybe. Our goal is to create new repository using the Firestore database. First, you need to go to the Cloud Firestore, and after this, you will find some data. At the moment, we don't have any data. I'm just delete users. I'm just for testing purpose already created some data. And first, you doesn't have any data. You're able to create a collection and documents. Collection means is like simple list, and in that list you're able to add the documents. That's it. The basic structure of database is collections and documents. For example, you have the shopping cart, collection. You're able to create a document ID and add some field with while. And you just created a shopping cart which have the document like auto-generated ID, and here your object, like object able to have more fields than one, and able to change the types if you would like adding fields. And here it's manually how you're able to add in your database. Now we delete that shopping cart. Oh, it's wrong. Shopping cart. Delete. And now we doesn't have any admin which appending our shopping items. We add all functionality from the client side. Of course, if you need to have the real app, you need to create some admin site or some website which helps you to append new items or add new items and etc. to your database. Because when using Firestore, you're able to use cross-platform, and it's really easy to add it to the web also, that Firestore, the same project. And for control or add items, I recommend to create your own simple web to add some items. And for our case, we create only repository, which is adding, deleting, and displaying items. First step, you need to create repository. Repository means you need some data. We go create Firebase Kotlin class, for example, and a singleton, because we don't need any more connection than one to database. And we need the name for our repository. Because we have the shopping cart, we creating the shopping cart repository. Shopping cart repository, which is the object, singleton object. And now we need the database connection. For our case, we creating DB variable, which is Firebase. If you have some dependencies, you should get Firebase Firestore. Why it's not here? Maybe we need to look to our build Gradle file first. And oh yeah, we don't have any dependencies. I'm just updated the links. And as I mentioned before, we need to go to the tools, Firebase, and we need to go to Firestore. read write, we connected, we need add cloud to your app. Accept changes. And when you're accepting changes, you will get new dependency here. Firebase Firestore, which means you're able to work with this API. After the process finished, we just should get our links to this API. Now you see able alt enter, Firebase Firestore, and get instance. Here is also singleton for API to connect to database. And now we need, for example, our user, because we need only a user with credentials able to work with database data. Well, user, for example, Firebase authentication. We doesn't have the authentication also. And for our case today, we use sign in pre-built UI, pre-built Firebase auth, because for your task also you need to add it. And we have that Android, easily sign in to your Android app with Firebase UI. And here we use the basic dependency to implement this sign in, pre-built sign in stuff. And when you're adding here, then we able to get this Firebase auth. And now we need to get instance, forget, and current user. And when you have the current user, you're able to start create your functions. And for that reason, that connection will be that it's not sync connection, it's like async, for example. And if you're using the async, you need to use the task object to return the task. And shopping cart repository, the methods which we needed, we create the functions fun and add to cart. For example, add to cart, and we adding what we're adding. We're adding our data item. Okay, item. Just need the link to our model, and we need to return the task is default tasks from the Google library task, and we need to return void. Just we adding data using the network. We need to async stuff to adding some data to our database. And when you adding some data, you need to create basically a new variable like document. Document means like when we have the database, we have the collection, and inside that collection we have the document. And first step, of course, we need to create a collection, the list, where we storing our data. Collection, and we need the collection name, for example, users, because we need the users which have that shopping cart, some cart shopping list for the items, and separate from the other users. And now in users collection or list, we need to add document. Document represents the user ID. For example, you have the list, and in that list you have the user unique ID. And if you create a unique ID, this document means like separate part of the database which is only for that user. It's like only that user information or profile information you'll find using the user. And user have user ID, for example, and this user ID comes from the Firebase Auth API. When you user sign in and not null, double exclamation mark means if user is null, automatically crash your app or just not add to cart, for example, at the moment. And we added also the collection and our, I don't know, shopping cart, for example. And in that collection we need to add some unique ID for document. If you leave like this, you will get automatically generated ID, unique ID, if you leave the document. If you need to generate your own, you're able to pass any stuff here, like path, and you're able to add it like if you're passing the item, image, URL, etc. It's like unique ID, for example, in our case. And we leave like empty to generate unique IDs. And now we have our, I know I'm just hitting the enters to easier read it here. We have the collection, and document. As you see here, we're creating the document, like document path is collection users. If not exist, it's creating automatically. The document user unique ID, shopping cart, and the unique key. And now we need to set our item to database. To save to database, you enough to call it return statement, and basically enough to say that db dot document set means you're updating the same values automatically, just or writing new ones. And when you setting, we need object, and in our case we adding the item. And if you leave like this, it not works, because we have the item without default values, and in Java or Firestore API you need to have the default values, and here you need to leave like this. In Kotlin you're able to make default values, and instead without default values you just need to add it default values empty, for example, and you're able to serialize your objects like classes. For that reason, if you're using the database in Firestore, you need default values, or just create constructor and initialize with zeros. Also two choices, or default values or this one. And now it should work. And again, we in shopping cart we adding more functions to get items. Fun get cart. Get cart. Okay, get cart, and we need to return collection reference because we need a list or collection from our database. And how to return the collection? Basically, you enough to call in return statement db collection, and in this way you're able to choose or programmatically like document, collection, etc. Or you're able to add a path in single string. For our case, we have collection users slash we have the user ID UID. Here you need of course added checks from null. If user null it's not working, and we need our shopping cart. That means we getting our maybe we don't need this. We getting our shopping cart collection because here is collection, and get cart is get maybe shopping cart. It's better because add to cart. Here get shopping cart. Okay, now we need another method, and another method is remove item from the basket. Fun remove item from shopping cart. And when you're removing the item, you need to pass item, which item you would like to remove it. Okay, when you have like this, you need to pass item. And now we need some unique IDs, and to return, of course, as a task. When you set or when you modify some values, you need to return the task object, just using the process background process. And here you need to create also the wall document. Oh, sorry, wall document equals maybe db collection, and the path to our collection first, like this one. Yeah. Now we created a path, and now we need, for example, document key. You're able to create the, when you're removing the item, you removing some unique item. Now we leave like this and see it works or not, because here it's we expecting that we removing the unique ID when you're passing item. Of course, better to create some ID in our item model first. Now I leave like this, and we see what's happening when we deleting the document like this. And we need to return document remove or delete. Yeah, delete. Document delete. We're deleting the document with which path is this one. And of course we see we need our item. And as we see, we're not able to add it as object. And we need to create some, I don't know, some unique ID, or we able, for example, use the name. item.name. We deleting the item using by name. Of course, if the item have the same names, it will be the problem. But here is a basic demonstration how it works. And basically here you need to create any other parameter, for example, unique ID parameter. And for the item unique ID. And now we have our basic implementation, basic methods for our add to cart, get shopping cart, remove from shopping cart. But as here, as you see, we need to sign in or log in to our app first. And for that reason, we're creating the basic pre-built UI using this Firestore guide. As you see here, sign in. And we just created basic fragment to login. Just login first, class login fragment. I don't create the templates, I'm just extending fragment. That's it. Oh, sorry, we need those because we don't need any other stuff. We just simple fragment. And here we on create method. Add it on create method. And in that on create method, we add this providers list and sign in info. Here basically you'll find in the guide later if you'd like to look or just ask later. How to implement, we just adding our providers from the list. And if you would like to use the sign in or login from the console Firebase, you need to activate first in authentication section. You will find sign in methods. And here you need to enable email and Google at the moment. And if you need more, you enable more sign-in methods, providers. And at the moment we have two providers. We enable email and Google. Now we create const-val rc sign in. It's equals 123. Doesn't matter, it's any name. And when you moving to the login fragment, it's automatically sign in to sign in to email using email or Google. Now we need to add more methods on start activity for result. We need on activity result. Here is result when is successfully connected. It's from guide from the Firestore. We just pasting in our fragment and we importing those stuff here. Okay. Okay. We don't use anything here at the moment. We just need to sign in. We able to make it work to say that it works. Context. Success. For example, success toast make test. We creating the message to show to our display when it's connection successfully. On activity result, if you result code okay, you will, I don't know, just save to database or do some steps, I don't know. If it fail, you do another step. Now we have our login fragment. And after we added login fragment, we need to change our navigation XML file and our diagram for this navigation component architecture stuff. And we just need to redesign our connections, login fragment. For example, from the splash screen, first time we're not going to home fragment and we're not going to the home fragment. We have the login, we moving to the login fragment, and after login we moving to the home like this. And if we already see the onboarding screen here, we moving directly to the login fragment first, and after this moving to the home fragment, because every time you need to sign into your app and or just check if not sign in, we just able to move it. Here those destinations to help to our program work correctly now, because we need to change a bit, as you see here, after boarding screen moving to login fragment. Okay, when we changing, we need to change our code a bit. Basically, we need to change onboarding screen. As you see, screen 3, it's not working because we moving from the login to home, because we have the added another stuff, and from splash screen to home, login, also splash screen to login fragment, because we are changing destinations here. And now maybe it's okay, we run the app and check is it working or not working, our login or sign in stuff. After you're connecting, you every time sign in to your Google or email provider. Because we're using the Firestore and our current user unique ID, we need to have that sign in connection. And as you see, you will get then pre-built UI, able to add icon, etc. But at the moment we don't add anything here. We connecting using sign in with Google, checking is provider working. I have the testing one, user. Okay, able to read my password, of course. Okay, more, accept. And when you sign in, you will get some message if it's okay. Success, okay. And we moving to our home fragment. As you see, it's not refreshed, but doesn't matter. We're adding the new Firebase data here, and we see update. Okay, our sign in working fine. Now we need to change a bit shopping cart. We need to implement functions first. Add to cart, get shopping cart, remove from shopping cart. And now we need to create our view model. Kotlin class, shopping, cart, view model. And it extends view model. Basically, that's it. And now we need to implement our functions. I'm just copy those functions here. because we need to add functionality how to connect to database. Yeah, here we adding the path, the return with what we done, the separate layer, and here we implementing basic business logic. And in shopping view model, you're not able to add any of UI elements because here it's a business logic and you're not allowed to add it here. You're able to add it, but it's not recommended because you've broken the MVVM pattern then. And add to cart, you need to create, for example, our view model. First, we need to create our repository object. Private wall repository repo equals our shopping cart repository. We calling that singleton. And now you need we have the repo and we need the mutable live data because we need to observe our values like using the live, updating live UI elements. If you would like to the live updating the elements, you need to using the mutable live data for our case, or just there is some RX Java library also allowed to use that live data or updating in the live. But we're using the mutable live data at the moment. And we need to create our shopping cart. Shopping cart. Or just shopping cart. Okay. And now on the right side, or just first we need to see which type of data we're creating. Mutable live data. And here we passing the list of items. List of items, and we say that mutable live data. We're creating the instance of the mutable live data, which is made from the list of items. Now we have our shopping cart, and the next step we're using the repository. Add to cart, we passing the item, and we adding two stuff add-on success listener and add-on failure listener if you need it, and it returns object void, or here returns exception. And here basically we need to create some tag for log information to console. Tag equals shopping cart view model. Doesn't matter which tag you choose it here. Log v tag item added. Just some information to the console. Is it working or not? Some problems, and able to add it like return the exception. We returning the exception, and now you need to return, of course. Oh, sorry. We don't need to return the task void. When you're adding the basket, we don't need anything here. We just adding to the basket. That's it. To the cart. Our repository, add to cart, success listener, failure listener. What we need to do when it's success or failed. And now when you need to return shopping cart, we deleting this and we deleting this. We need to return the items like live data. We need to update our UI in live. Live data will be list of items. And here we returning the shopping cart. And here we need to have that our basic implementation of how to get the items. Repository get shopping cart, and now we need to move it, add snapshot listener, and here is basically a lot of choices. I use the value error. For me it's easier to implement, and basically able to use the value and error cases. And how to use it, we need to create a temp list, which is of mutable list from item, and here are the same names but different meanings. Here is mutable live data, it's a API from Jetpack. Mutable lists like the basic list, which is dynamic list. Mutable list. Immutable is not changing. And when you're using the mutable list, you're able to change or add items to the list. Here is a temp list to add some items. When you're using this mutable live data, you need to create a temporary list. First, you're reading from the database data, storing here, and then you setting to the live data to update or to see the changes in the live. And now we just say here like mutable list of, it's like mutable list of items. Now you're able to create using the for or just using the value for each, because you're able to get the nulls. You also check the not null for each, and I don't know which is better to pick now. Maybe that one for each consumer. Okay, we created just document, and here you implement the functionality. We're using the basic for each lambda expression, iterating through the all collection, all the list from the document collection. And now you need to convert your objects from database. You will get some data as a JSON. You need to convert to our objects. And how to convert, it's easy. Well, item equals document to object. And here you need to pass the type of your class, like item class reflection here to your class object. And when you read this, you need to add to the temp list, add, you need to add the items. And that's it. When you done this, after this you need to add it to the mutable live data object. And how to make this? You need to say that shopping cart dot value is set value And if you're using the background process, you're using instead the value the post value. Here only two methods for the mutable live data: post value in background process, and if not background, in the main thread using the value. And here you just passing our list, temp list. And now it works, it should work. We get shopping cart, we add to cart, and we need to delete from cart. Remove from shopping cart item. We just deleting this return type. And for remove, it's really easy to make this. We call the repository link, remove from shopping cart item, and add, doesn't matter, on success listener and on failure listener. You're able to add only on failure listener if you'd like to say something. Like this. We also added on success if you'd like to do some steps. Here it's not big deal to make this. And we have our shopping view model already implemented. We have the card repository, as you see, split it a bit code, because you're able to implement all functionality in the single view model without the repository. But when you have the repository, it's splitting and saving some space, easier to make the tests and easier to read later. And now we need to use this stuff. And maybe first, when you sign in here, I'm just copy this from the past lectures in the main activity. No, in the splash screen free, where we displaying, maybe in home fragment. Yeah, we have the view model implementation here. And when we sign in, I would like to create view model shopping cart and add to shopping cart some stuff, for example. And first I need to create our view model object. In any fragment, you're able to create your view model object and to use this data from your database. Private shopping, late init var, shopping view model. It's different ways, sorry. Shopping cart view model. We create the object late init var. That means we need to initialize this, and we initializing this on create method. Maybe here. And I'm just copy this link because it's really, sometimes I forget how to implement shopping cart view model provider. We need the context, get, and here you're passing the view model, shopping view model class ciao. Delete this. And here we just connecting our view model to the UI to get some data. And now you're able to call those functions or to get some data or observe this data in the live updates. Now we don't use it in live updates. We just adding some data here when sign in. Shopping cart view model, and you're able to call it add to cart, and we adding some item. I'll enter importing item, and we passing the name like Samsung Evo 850 plus price 200 and image URL address we just copy Samsung disk Evo. Doesn't matter which, for example, this copy image address, and we just adding there some address. Oh, sorry, it's wrong one. Okay, we adding the hard for SSD, and you just every time adding some stuff here. It's for testing. We're running the app, and we need our termination database. Go to Cloud Firestore. Where is, oh, here, success. And as you see here, we created the users collection. We created the document. It's like unique document ID, and shopping cart, which is adding another document, unique as you see ID. And in that ID, you added object like your object item. From you have only three fields. And when you're running again app, you should create another object. As you see here, there is another document. It's the same, but as you see here, different document IDs. No. And you able to create those documents using like this. And of course, if you have the to-do list, there are different apps, you're able to save this data to database and to say that this document, as you see, depends to this user. Here is a user unique ID, and how to see this unique ID, as you see authentication here, and here we'll find user ID. That means this database record depends to this user. And of course, in your rules section, you're able to say that some path depends to user here or anywhere. Like maybe change to 1212 the rules, because it stopped working when this date reached month, day, year, day, month, year, doesn't matter. Okay, we already added some data. Okay, it's working now. Now we need to display some data to our, for example, home fragment. I would like only today to show how to use it, that item view model. Later we create the basic functionality, the new recycle view, the list of the, for example, shopping items, and later when you need to add shopping cart items, you need a different view, and etc. Now we just testing the functionality of Firebase Firestore. And how to display to the home? It's really easy if you adding your new item view model instead of basic view model, because when you go to the home fragment, now it's not working, sorry. We see headphones, laptop, we get the data from our item repository here. As you see, here is a local data. And if you would like to add data from shopping cart, it's really not so hard if you're using the view models. Just creating the shopping cart view model. Here just initialize our shopping cart view model, equals view model provider. Oh, sorry. View model provider. This get view shopping cart view model class. Yeah, okay. We just initializing our or connecting our data from the shopping cart view model, and instead of this item list adapter submit list value to the recycle view, for a moment we would like to display our shopping cart list. We just need to check if we need maybe to create a user private while user equals Firebase of get instance current user, for example. And if user not null, of course there is different approaches how to use it. If user not null, because we need to sign in first to display some data. And here basically we need our adapter submit list. We passing our item, oh, not item view model, or shopping cart view model, get items, well, like we passing the list of the items. And we just commented here and we try to run it our app. Terminate here. Sign in. Now it's not updated here. Why it's not updating? Maybe we need to make some stuff. Oh yeah, sorry. When we using the view model and mutable live data, you need of course to observe these values, and to pass like this you're not getting anything. You get the null, for example. You need first to observe your data instead of this. You just leave like this. Shopping cart value, you get value or just observe. And when you observer, you need lifecycle owner object and you need observer object create here. That means when some changes in your database or any stuff, you are updating your UI. We passing that updates like it means you return the list of items. And now it's user not null, we updating to our app. Observe, that means when some changes you will see automatically to your screen. It's not updating automatically. Some problems maybe with adapter. Maybe we just say submit, notify, just try to check it. Not sure now why it's not working like this. Um, what's going on here now? I'm not sure now. Maybe I later say why it's not working. Because also this item view model, as you see, also doesn't display anything at the moment. Maybe there is some problems with notification for our list changes. Okay, but we get our list, of course, as you see here, after making some stuff. Maybe we just try to copy this and adding to the our here for testing purpose. If we adding item here, maybe we see the changes in our UI. Nope. Okay, then when I have the solution, I'm just say what's wrong was here, because as you see, when we clicking, we getting the data now. And now we just stop to here, and now we need to add some functionality to delete some item. And of course, we need to create some click event. For example, when you click here, you need to delete item. And how to make this? We first need to go to the list item list adapter, and here maybe we need to use the swap data instead of submit list. Just check it a moment. Where is this login fragment? No, home fragment. Try to use swap data. Maybe this works. Not working. Maybe different compiler working. Okay, swap data, it's the same submit list, doesn't matter really. Okay, back to our item list adapter. We need to implement interaction interface like void or fun click item, and here we passing the item. After we passing some item, we need to interaction to our item. And here, as you see, there is one click event implemented here. You need to call this interaction dot click item passing clicked. And of course, it's not null. Interaction click item clicked. That means when you clicking on the item, you will get the item which you would like to, for example, delete for a moment. And how to implement in home fragment? You need to implement your interface. Interface is interaction from item list adapter, and we just adding this function click item. And now we have our view model. We need to view model is shopping cart view model, remove item from shopping cart, and we removing the item. And now we see that we just removing something. Is it working or not working? Our case by name. Because we have the same names here. Click in. Why it's not working here? We have the remove basket view model, remove from basket. Okay. And here we have the remove from the shopping cart. Some problems. Okay, we need to check view mode, exit. Item added. Oh, yeah, forget. Now, when you using this interaction, you need to pass your object of interaction. And in our case, we not passed to the adapter. We implemented the functionality for how this method works, but we not use it anywhere. And how to use it? We need to pass for our item list adapter, we need to pass interaction. By default is null. If using the Java, it's not happening like this. If using the Kotlin, you're able to leave like this. Because we need to pass the interaction to our list adapter, by default is null, we need to pass our interaction. This means shows to this interaction implementation here. And when we running, now it should works. And okay, here is a problem. I don't know, it's deleting, not deleting. Yeah, we added adapter, we added a shopping remove from cart. Item. We just refreshing our case. No. Try to remove again. Or just I try to run it different. Pixel 2, for example, to see if it's the same or not. Problems, no problems. No, it's the same. I know what's happening here, why it's... Okay, we just printed message toast, make text, click item. Oh, sorry, context. Context, clicked, item. Toast, length long dot show. Okay, when we click in this item, you will see some item clicked or not. Okay, we need to check our remove function. Shopping cart document, item name. When we creating the document, we creating the unique. Oh, maybe here is a problem. Because we try to delete the document which have the name, or here we have the generated key stuff, and for that reason we not deleting because we don't find any document. Okay. Okay, it's not updating. Yeah, we need to fix this problem now. I'm just creating, for example, new ID var ID integer or long, doesn't matter. It's 0L long. We fix it and added another item. We need to change this function. I'm commenting here. And now we need to generate item which we adding to the database. We just deleting shopping cart. Here delete collection users. Okay, we deleting users and that's it. We doesn't have anything here. And when we shopping cart we model, we need to add ID new random or just not new random dot sorry alt enter import java till random next long. No parameter. Okay, random next long. We're just generating some stuff here, and in login we're not adding anything here. We're just running our app. When we go to the home, we get some record here, and when you click it here, you will get some information, but it's not deleted from this. We need now to fix our shopping cart repository, and instead of this, we setting the document. We able to create item.id required string. Okay, we just adding with this item ID, and here we passing also item ID. Basically we need to fix here item ID. We created basically those two stuff, item ID and item ID. And now we have how to get concrete items. I'm just delete this users collection. Users delete. I don't know, it's creating new one. Oh, as you see, it's gone. We have the single record, and if you would like to delete, we click here and you deleting from the list. Is it working now? Because we need to track some data, and the main reason was that we created a document, and of course we're able to implement with these keys also, but you need to save that keys somewhere then. But now we have the functionality, like when you have some items, like home, we just adding like this, and if you deleting, you just clicking and deleting items. And after this, if you changing some in database, for example, we able to image CD-ROM, just copy like this, copy image address, and we have our app Let's see, have shopping cart, for example, minus, I don't know why it's minus, and we changing some stuff here. And when you're updating, you see live updates. We need different link maybe for image, copy image address. Because we get data here, update. And as you see here, live updates coming here. And mutable live data and live data observed, like working like this, you're able to update live your data without any implementations, only using this API. And basically you need, every time when you're working with some data, you need to create a repository to add functionality. Here is the API for Firestore. If using different, you need different way implement this. And view model is basically logic for your database connection, and after this you will get more functions, and later we continue our tasks, our app, and try to implement and fix UI and add more logic, or not delete it on click, or just mark checkboxes, etc. And today's